communicating to our people around the world. And initially, the Nigerian authorities had fought to close the radio. Thank you very much. They had fought to close down the radio.
I'll take one day.
Yeah. I'll just get those dates as well.
They had fought so hard to shut down the radio.
Right.
But
So where's the radio based?
it's based in London.
Oh, in London.
In London.
Yeah.
But they couldn't. So the radio is still on. And our people and the radio continue to develop into local stations around Biafra land to educate our people and to get them to understand their plight.
Hannah will bring in a plate in a minute.
In Nigeria. Because you yourself, you know the Biafra War, which is what we're here today. The reason for the Biafran War, the reason for the war is still present today. The marginalization, the exclusion, the systemic oppression of the Biafran people is still going on 50 years on. And that was what propelled Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to form this organization, IPOB, to see how we can liberate our people from that oppression that has gone on for years, even if not generations. So it is under that umbrella that we then continue to agitate for the restoration of Biafra. As you know, restoration of Biafra is not just restoring a country, it is restoring our identity and restoring our dignity and who we are. Because Nigeria, after Biafra was annexed, we call it annexation. What happened during the war was not just war, it was a genocide. A genocidal war that was perpetrated by Nigeria and their cohort to annex Biafra because of the enormous resources in Biafra. All right? So, and so it was after, because the reasons we are still there, and every effort we've made to blend in and integrate and to build Nigeria was not being recognized. Instead, we've been punished for that. And we say, this generation of IPOB rose up to say, this is 2023, this is 2022, this is 2021. This can't go on. You know what I'm saying? So, and we say, enough is enough. And that is why Mazi Nnamdi Kanu formed this again, and we, his followers, we, his supporters, are saying, this is a good, this is the right cause. Because if we don't do it, our generations to come, if there is going to be any, because the aim of this whole systemic generational operation was to exterminate a people. It's established.
Yeah.
Okay? And if we don't act now, there will be no us tomorrow.
Yeah.
And for that reason, they're saying, we said, we want to opt out from this, to be able to reorganize and organize ourselves, to be able to stay alive and keep our generations, our culture, our tradition, our everything, because they are all being nearly extinct. And you know, a people with no culture, no tradition, no identity, no dignity, non-existent. We don't exist. So, and this is why we are saying, no, we must restore this country. Given that we are in Nigeria and Nigeria is doing all these things to us, we can't continue. Give us a referendum. Let us see if our people, with all of this suffering, want to still remain in Nigeria. If they vote yes, so be it. It's a democratic way of doing things this 21st century. So be it. If they say, okay, we opt out, I mean, you have to respect democracy. But Nigeria said, no, we're not going to give you a referendum. We will kill you. So as we say today, as it stands today, the whole of Biafra land is under siege. Everywhere is Nigerian army and security operatives killing people, both in the bushes, on the streets, everywhere.
Yeah.
as slightest provoke or no provocation, you'll be killed. So that's where we are.
Yeah. Well, thank you, CJ, for sharing that, because that's a modern situation. But today, I think, was a day about the history,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
So it's a chance to hear about the history of Biafra, and I think Ed here was going to share some of his experiences of the war. So, what would you like to know?
Anything that he can tell us, because we're not present, we're not there when it happened.
Yeah, yeah,
So we cherish any memory.
yeah. So Dad, tell us, when did you arrive in Biafra?
Yes.
There, what was it now?
1965, was it? Or
60
after
or
that.
61, something like that.
Yeah.
But I went as a Methodist missionary doctor, and the hospital in Umahia had just been started. It was given the name, it was by the obviously colonial people at Queen Elizabeth Hospital. But it drew together, it was really, the whole objective was to start training nurses up to standards that were set by perhaps nursing organizations back in England and elsewhere. But it would be could be up to as were national kind of standards. And we had a very able midwife tutor, and then who particularly was an ideal person to lift, to bring on the standard. So Jean was came out from the Methodist Society in England and in Ireland as a midwife and in charge of the maternity section, and that was about, say, 25 in one and about much the same the other. So it was a good, substantial, and that went. Now I'm talking to you as we saw it at that time. At that time, in the north in particular, the folk who had been colonial were being replaced by suitable African folk, and Igbo people in particular did well there.
In the north.
In the north. But sadly, that led to say jealousy and what would be the right word? Yes, jealousy more than that.
Jealousy.
Yeah.
Jealousy.
So that you might will have known how even people coming back, because Igbo people from the area I was in were aware of the dangers and started to come back to both Enugu and Umahi and down to Port Harcourt. And sadly on the way trains were stopped and people were killed, sadly. And
the Igbo people were killed.
And others, Igbo and to some extent people from the west. I've forgotten the name.
Yoruba.
Yeah, were being killed, and smaller groups, smaller tribes.
Smaller tribes, yes.
And so that led to a feeling that, as you're talking, that Biafra needed to be, or this whole area needed to be independent. They probably didn't think necessarily immediately. It's more self-defending.
Yes, self-defense. Yeah.
And so I was a gynecologist or obstetrician in Umahia at Queen Elizabeth